Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carol Johnson, and I'm today's service associate. Richard Clarke will be presenting our message this afternoon. Our opening words are by Bolte Taylor. We have the power to choose, moment by moment, who and how we want to be in the world. We'll start this morning with a TED Talk where Dr. Taylor recounts her stroke experiences.
I grew up to study the brain because I have a brother who has been diagnosed with a brain disorder, schizophrenia. And as a sister, and later as a scientist, I wanted to understand why is it that I can take my dreams, I can connect them to my reality, and I can make my dreams come true. What is it about my brother's brain and his schizophrenia that he cannot connect his dreams to a common and shared reality, so they instead become delusion? So I dedicated my career to research into the severe mental illnesses, and I moved from my home state of Indiana to Boston, where I was working in the lab of Dr. Francine Bennis in the Harvard Department of Psychiatry. And in the lab, we were asking the question, what are the biological differences between the brains of individuals who would be diagnosed as normal control, as compared with the brains of individuals diagnosed with schizophrenia, schizoaffective, or bipolar disorder? So we were essentially mapping the microcircuitry of the brain, which cells are communicating with which cells, with which chemicals, and then in what quantities of those chemicals. So there was a lot of meaning in my life because I was performing this type of research during the day, but then in the evenings and on the weekends, I traveled as an advocate for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. But on the morning of December 10, 1996, I woke up to discover that I had a brain disorder of my own. A blood vessel exploded in the left half of my brain. And in the course of 4 hours, I watched my brain completely deteriorate in its ability to process all information. On the morning of the hemorrhage, I could not walk, talk, read, write, or recall any of my life. I essentially became an infant in a woman's body. If you've ever seen a human brain, it's obvious that the two hemispheres are completely separate from one another. And I have brought for you a real human brain. Thank you. So this is a real human brain. This is the front of the brain, the back of the brain with the spinal cord hanging down. And this is how it would be positioned inside of my head. And when you look at the brain, it's obvious that the two cerebral cortices are completely separate from one another. For those of you who understand computers, our right hemisphere functions like a parallel processor, while our left hemisphere functions like a serial processor. The two hemispheres do communicate with one another through the corpus callosum, which is made up of some 300 million axonal fibers. But other than that, the two hemispheres are completely separate. Because they process information differently, each of our hemispheres think about different things, they care about different things, and dare I say, they have very different personalities. Excuse me. Thank you. It's been a joy. Our right human hemisphere is all about this present moment. It's all about right here, right now. Our right hemisphere, it thinks in pictures, and it learns kinesthetically through the movement of our bodies. Information in the form of energy streams in simultaneously through all of our sensory systems, and then it explodes into this enormous collage of what this present moment looks like, what this present moment smells like and tastes like, what it feels like, and what it sounds like. I am an energy being connected to the energy all around me through the consciousness of my right hemisphere. We are energy beings connected to one another through the consciousness of our right hemispheres as one human family. And right here, right now, we are brothers and sisters on this planet, here to make the world a better place. And in this moment, we are perfect, we are whole, and we are beautiful. My left hemisphere, our left hemisphere, is a very different place. Our left hemisphere thinks linearly and methodically. Our left hemisphere is all about the past, and it's all about the future. Our left hemisphere is designed to take that enormous collage of the present moment and start picking out details, and more details about those details. It then categorizes and organizes all that information, associates it with everything in the past we've ever learned, and projects into the future all of our possibilities. And our left hemisphere thinks in language. It's that ongoing brain chatter that connects me and my internal world to my external world. It's that little voice that says to me, hey, you got to remember to pick up bananas on your way home. I need them in the morning. It's that calculating intelligence that reminds me when I have to do my laundry. But perhaps most important, it's that little voice that says to me, I am. I am. And as soon as my left hemisphere says to me, I am, I become separate. I become a single, solid individual, separate from the energy flow around me and separate from you. And this is a portion of my brain that I lost on the morning of my stroke. On the morning of the stroke, I woke up to a pounding pain behind my left eye. And it was the kind of pain, caustic pain, that you get when you bite into ice cream. And it just gripped me, and then it released me. And then it just gripped me, and then it released me. And it was very unusual for me to ever experience any kind of pain, so I thought, okay, I'll just start my normal routine. So I got up and I jumped onto my cardio glider, which is a full body, full exercise machine. And I'm jamming away on this thing, and I'm realizing that my hands look like primitive claws grasping onto the bar. And I thought, that's very peculiar. And I looked down at my body, and I thought, whoa, I am a weird-looking thing. And it was as though my consciousness had shifted away from my normal perception of reality, where I'm the person on the machine having the experience, to some esoteric space where I'm witnessing myself having this experience. And it was all very peculiar, and my headache was just getting worse, so I get off the machine, and I'm walking across my living room floor, and I realize that everything inside of my body has slowed way down. And every step is very rigid and very deliberate. There's no fluidity to my pace, and there's this constriction in my area of perception, so I'm just focused on internal systems. And I'm standing in my bathroom getting ready to step into the shower, and I could actually hear the dialogue inside of my body. I heard a little voice saying, okay, you muscles, you got to contract, and you muscles, you relax. And then I lost my balance, and I'm propped up against the wall. And I looked down at my arm, and I realized that I can no longer define the boundaries of my body. I can't define where I begin and where I end, because the atoms and the molecules of my arm blended with the atoms and molecules of the wall. And all I could detect was this energy. And I'm asking myself, what is wrong with me? What is going on? And in that moment, my brain chatter, my left hemisphere brain chatter, went totally silent. Just like someone took a remote control and pushed the mute button. Total silence. And at first I was shocked to find myself inside of a silent mind. But then I was immediately captivated by the magnificence of the energy around me. And because I could no longer identify the boundaries of my body, I felt enormous and expansive. I felt at one with all the energy that was, and it was beautiful there. And then all of a sudden, my left hemisphere comes back online, and it says to me, hey, we got a problem, we got to get some help. And I'm going, oh, I got a problem. So it's like, okay, I got a problem. But then I immediately drifted right back out into the consciousness, and I affectionately refer to this space as La La Land. but it was beautiful there. Imagine what it would be like to be totally disconnected from your brain chatter that connects you to the external world.
Good afternoon, friends. Now, this talk was stimulated by Matt's talk, Becoming Whole People, on July 21st. I was reminded of what I am learning now about the brain, that we really have and use not one, but 4 brains, each with different capabilities and different personalities. I learned about this after listening to Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor on YouTube, like we were watching here. I heard her talking about, I've been meditating for many decades, and the goal in meditation is for me to experience what she was talking about. I don't know if I'm willing to have a massive stroke to do it, though. So Dr. Taylor is a renowned neuroanatomist. This is a brain scientist who studies the anatomy, the structure of the brain. What a way to study the brain. She offers a compelling framework for understanding brain function through her concept of the 4 brains. She calls them the 4 characters that live in your brain. This understanding provides insights into how different parts of our brain contribute to our life, our sense of self, and our interactions with the world. Naturally, I'm interested in this in the context of meditation and mindfulness. Dr. Taylor was a dedicated researcher when she experienced a life-changing stroke at the age of 37. The stroke occurred in the left hemisphere of her brain, the region responsible for language and linear thinking, and importantly, your ego, your sense of being a separate self. Her journey to recovery gave her a unique perspective on the brain's functioning, leading her to develop this 4 brains model. This model divides the brain into 2 hemispheres, each housing 2 distinct characters with unique attributes. We once thought that there was a right brain and a left brain, the left logical, the right emotional, but that is just not correct. It's too simple. You have to add in the old brain and the new brain into the mix. So to start with, I need to give you a quick overview of the brain. The brain is a marvel of complexity with 86 billion neurons that can make 100 trillion connections. The brain is divided, like we saw, into 2 separate hemispheres that each serve distinct functions, yet work together to create our unified experience of the world. The left brain is made of linear processes like A plus B equals C, while the right brain is more of a parallel processor looking at many parts simultaneously. The left brain works with memories of the past and its projections of the future. The right brain is here and now, focused on this present moment. In computer terms, the left is a serial processor and the right is a parallel processor. So let's explore some brain anatomy and brain functions, focusing on how they fall within the right and left hemisphere and the new brain, the cortex, and the old brain, made up of structures like the amygdala. And for your daily life in meditation, these matter. A simple way to understand this is the new brain thinks and the old brain feels. Each hemisphere has one part that is the old brain and the other part that is the new brain. I didn't realize the old brain was set up in these two different hemispheres. The old brain has parts in each hemisphere and handles basic structural functions and emotional responses. This includes the brainstem, limbic system, with the amygdala and hippocampus that are crucial for emotion and memory. The new brain, the cerebral cortex, is responsible for higher order functions like reasoning, abstract thinking, imagination, and creative thought. Each hemisphere of the cortex is specialized in ways that are crucial for different aspects of cognition and behavior. The right cortex is anchored in the present moment. It processes immediate sensory experiences and helps you live fully in the now. It is key for generating new ideas and creative thinking. It engages in creative and artistic endeavors. This includes specialized parts for innovative thinking in visual and spatial relationships and navigation. The right cortex processes music and rhythm. It interprets and expresses emotions. The right cortex and amygdala work together for this. The right cortex decodes nonverbal cues and body language. Overall, the right cortex excels in seeing the big picture and integrating information. I think of it as knowing things as wholes, not in parts. The left cortex is involved in linear thinking and is responsible for planning and recalling past experiences and future projections. When you're in a conversation and thinking about what to say next, you're using the left cortex. The left cortex allows you to analyze sequences of events and understand cause and effect. There is a brain part which handles logical reasoning and systematic planning. So the left cortex excels in logical reasoning and analytical tasks. The left cortex, importantly, dominates language processing, including speaking, reading, writing, and understanding language. It also handles mathematical reasoning and calculation. So the left cortex stores and recalls facts. I don't know what part of the brain generates lies. The left cortex engages in critical analysis and decision-making based on logical assessment. Know anybody like that? They're left-brained. The left cortex also creates our idea of ourself as a separate body and entity. It creates the ego. So the ego is not inherent within us. The ego is a left brain function. So it takes a special structure of the brain to manufacture your ego. It's not just there. The left cortex processes information in a linear, step-by-step manner, like a serial processor in a computer. This is the hallmark of the left hemisphere. Now for integration and communication. The brain's hemispheres do not operate in isolation. They are connected, like we saw in the image, by the corpus callosum, which is a bundle of hundreds of thousands of nerve fibers that facilitate the exchange of information between the right and left hemispheres. This integration allows you to combine the strength of both hemispheres for balanced and cohesive cognitive function. Now, studies show that women have a larger corpus callosum volume than men. The assumption is that women have more communication between the left and right brain, so women are more naturally brain balanced than men. Carol said, I don't need the scientists to tell me that. Now, understanding the distinct functions of the right and left hemisphere can significantly enhance a meditation practice. Meditation often involves quieting the left hemisphere's linear thinking about the past and the future and engaging with the right hemisphere's present moment awareness. During meditation, you aim to reduce the dominance of the left hemisphere's chatter about past regrets and future anxieties. Buddhists call this chatter the monkey mind. Reducing it helps you achieve a quiet mind and a state of inner peace and clarity. By focusing on your breath, body sensations, or immediate surroundings, you can activate the right hemisphere's capacity to be fully present. This engagement can lead to a deeper sense of connection with yourself and the world around you. Regular meditation can help balance the functions of both hemispheres. Your left brain's logical and analytical thinking capability is probably already well established. This is what's encouraged in our culture, and this is what is needed in most jobs. So we don't need any help with that. We've been practicing it all our life. Most people then need right brain work to balance their mind, to foster creativity, emotional intelligence, and holistic awareness. By quieting the analytical mind, you open up space for the right hemisphere's creativity and intuition. This can lead to new insights and creative solutions in various activities of your life. Meditation can help you process emotions more effectively by engaging the right hemisphere's capacity for empathy and emotional understanding. This can lead to healthier emotional responses and better relationships. The ancient Buddhist metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, uses these capabilities. The right hemisphere's sense of unity and connection to something greater can enhance your spiritual practice. Feeling interconnected with the universe or a higher power can bring a sense of peace and fulfillment. This is experienced directly in deep meditation. The right hemisphere's focus on the present moment and the left hemisphere's capacity for logical and sequential thinking both play crucial roles in our cognitive and emotional lives. You need them both, but in good balance. By understanding and balancing these brain functions, using right brain activities like meditation and mindfulness practice, as well as art, music, movement, and yoga, these all can enhance your overall well-being, creativity, and connection to your deepest self. Most of us need to exercise our right brain to get better brain balance. So now we'll listen to Jill again.
So here I am in this space, and my job and any stress related to my job, it was gone. And I felt lighter in my body. And imagine all of the relationships in the external world and any stressors related to any of those, they were gone. And I felt this sense of peacefulness. And imagine what it would feel like to lose 37 years of emotional baggage. Oh, I felt euphoria. Euphoria. It was beautiful there. And then again, my left hemisphere comes online and it says, hey, you've got to pay attention. We've got to get help. And I'm thinking, I got to get help. I got to focus. So I get out of the shower and I'm mechanically dressed and I'm walking around my apartment and I'm thinking, I got to get to work. I got to get to work. Can I drive? Can I drive? And in that moment, my right arm went totally paralyzed by my side. Then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke. And then the next thing my brain says to me is, wow, this is so cool. This is so cool. How many brain scientists have the opportunity to study their own brain from the inside out? And then it crosses my mind, but I'm a very busy woman. I don't have time for a stroke. It's like, okay, I can't stop the stroke from happening, so I'll do this for a week or two, and then I'll get back to my routine. Okay, so I got to call help. I got to call work. I couldn't remember the number at work. So I remembered in my office I had a business card with my number on it. So I go into my business room. I pull out a 3-inch stack of business cards. And I'm looking at the card on top. And even though I could see clearly in my mind's eye what my business card looked like, I couldn't tell if this was my card or not, because all I could see were pixels. And the pixels of the words blended with the pixels of the background and the pixels of the symbols, and I just couldn't tell. And then I would wait for what I call a wave of clarity. And in that moment, I would be able to reattach to normal reality. And I could tell, that's not the card, that's not the card, that's not the card. It took me 45 minutes to get 1 inch down inside of that stack of cards. In the meantime, for 45 minutes, the hemorrhage is getting bigger in my left hemisphere. I do not understand numbers. I do not understand a telephone, but it's the only plan I have. So I take the phone pad and I put it right here. I take the business card, I put it right here, and I'm matching the shape of the squiggles on the card to the shape of the squiggles on the phone pad. But then I would drift back out into la la land and not remember if when I come back if I'd already dialed those numbers. So I had to wield my paralyzed arm like a stump and cover the numbers as I went along and push them so that as I would come back to normal reality, I'd be able to tell, yes, I've already dialed that number. Eventually, the whole number gets dialed, and I'm listening to the phone, and my colleague picks up the phone, and he says to me, and I think to myself, oh my gosh, he sounds like a golden retriever. And so I say to him, clear in my mind, I say to him, this is Jill, I need help. And what comes out of my voice is, and I think, oh my gosh, I sound like a golden retriever. So I didn't know that I couldn't speak or understand language until I tried. So he recognizes that I need help, and he gets me help. And a little while later, I'm riding in an ambulance from one hospital across Boston to Mass General Hospital. And I curl up into a little fetal ball. And just like a balloon with the last bit of air just right out of the balloon. I just felt my energy lift and I felt my spirit surrender. And in that moment, I knew that I was no longer the choreographer of my life, and either the doctors rescue my body and give me a second chance at life, or this was perhaps my moment of transition. When I woke later that afternoon, I was shocked to discover that I was still alive. When I felt my spirit surrender, I said goodbye to my life, and my mind was now suspended between two very opposite planes of reality. Stimulation coming in through my sensory systems felt like pure pain. Light burned my brain like wildfire, and sounds were so loud and chaotic that I could not pick a voice out from the background noise, and I just wanted to escape. Because I could not identify the position of my body in space, I felt enormous and expansive, like a genie just liberated from her bottle. And my spirit soared free like a great whale gliding through a sea of silent euphoria. Nirvana. I found nirvana. And I remember thinking there's no way I would ever be able to squeeze the enormousness of myself back inside this tiny little body. But then I realized, but I'm still alive. I'm still alive, and I have found nirvana. And if I have found nirvana and I'm still alive, then everyone who is alive can find nirvana. And I pictured a world filled with beautiful, peaceful, compassionate, loving people who knew that they could come to this space at any time and that they could purposely choose to step to the right of their left hemispheres and find this peace. And then I realized what a tremendous gift this experience could be. What a stroke of insight this could be to how we live our lives. And it motivated me to recover. 2.5 weeks after the hemorrhage, the surgeons went in and they removed a blood clot the size of a golf ball that was pushing on my language centers. Here I am with my mama, who's a true angel in my life. It took me 8 years to completely recover.
Now, on to our 4 brains and the 4 characters. Our 4 brains show up as independent characters, each a unique aspect of our mental and emotional landscape, divided between the left and right hemispheres and the old and new brain. Character 1 is the organized, analytical self. I'm standing straight and strict position, the left hemisphere and the new brain. Character 1 is logical, analytical, structured, and task-oriented. This character is responsible for organizing daily tasks, focusing on details and details of details, following rules, and adhering to schedules. It helps with language, reasoning, and categorizing things. It keeps your life in order and on track. This is the voice that says, what do I need to do today? This makes lists. And how can I solve the problem? Character 1 is the analytical thinker, the part of us that ensures our life runs smoothly and efficiently. Focus, attention meditation, like watching a candle flame exercises character 1. Character 2 is the worrier or the projector in the left hemisphere in the old brain. Character 2 is fearful, defensive, and focused on protecting the self. Sound like anyone you know? It is highly aware of potential dangers and is often associated with anxiety, judgment, or self-criticism. This is the part of you that constantly thinks about the past and worries about the future based on survival instincts. It acts as your inner critic or protector, making sure you avoid risks and adhere to societal norms. When character 2 dominates our thoughts, we are reactive and emotionally vulnerable. It holds the emotional baggage that can influence our reactions and interactions, often leading to stress and anxiety if we're not mindful. Self-reflective analytical meditation and body scan meditation can exercise character 2. Character 3, we heard about from Dr. Jill, is the experiential, joyful self. And it's in the right hemisphere and in the old brain. Character 3 is playful, spontaneous, connected to the body, and engaged in the present moment. This character is responsible for your sense of fun, joy, and emotional connection to others. It's the part that embraces new experiences and enjoys life's sensory pleasures. It seeks to experience the world directly and intuitively, without the filter of language and rules. It's the side of you that feels alive, connected, and in the flow. Character 3 allows us to fully engage with the surroundings, find joy in the present moment, and tap into our creativity and intuition. It's the part of us that thrives on spontaneity and the richness of sensory experiences. Mindfulness and loving kindness meditation both use character 3. Character 4 is the expansive spiritual self. Again, we saw Jill talking about it, situated in the right hemisphere and in the new brain. Character 4 is open, peaceful, and deeply connected to a sense of oneness with the universe. This character transcends ego and individual concerns, leading to feelings of awe, compassion, and spiritual insight. It helps you connect to the bigger picture and feel unity with the world. This character often emerges during moments of mindfulness meditation or spiritual awakening. It is the expansive, timeless sense of the self free from the constraints of the individual ego. Gratitude meditation, Zen meditation, and self-inquiry like I do all exercise character 4. Character 4 seeks meaning and purpose, and it drives our compassionate actions and spiritual practices. Character 4 helps us cultivate empathy, kindness, and a profound sense of inner peace. Understanding these 4 characters is crucial for meditation and mindfulness practice. Meditation, like mindfulness, allows us to quiet the left hemisphere, particularly characters 1 and 2, and then engage more with the right hemispheres, characters 3 and 4. By doing so, we can experience a greater sense of peace, presence, and connection with our true self. When you meditate, you can observe the thoughts and emotions arising from characters 1 and 2 without getting entangled in them. By recognizing that these thoughts and emotions are just activities from the left hemisphere, you can decide not to engage with them and instead focus on the present moment. This practice can diminish the power of the inner critic, reduce emotional pain, and it brings a sense of peace and well-being. By engaging characters 3 and 4 during meditation, you can enhance your creativity and intuition. By embracing the present moment and letting go of analytical thinking, you open yourself to new insights and ideas and to the state of flow, where everything just works together. This is not only beneficial for personal growth, but can lead to breakthroughs in other aspects of life. Moreover, character 4's sense of unity and connection can deepen your spiritual practice. Feeling connected to something greater than yourself can provide a sense of purpose and meaning, enriching your meditation experience, your spiritual journey, and your life. This connection can also cultivate compassion and empathy, both towards yourself and others, fostering healthier relationships and a more fulfilling life. Dr. Taylor's message is not only of the 4 brains and 4 characters, but it is that you can be the character you want to be. It starts with your understanding your own 4 characters and then making a choice. Who do you want to be? And then acting in ways to engage that character that we want to be. So I've given you some hints today. You now have the opportunity to choose. Who do I want to be? Now, instead of having the regular closing words, we're going to have the finishing part of this same video from Dr. Jill. She says it better than I can.
Be in the world. Right here, right now, I can step into the consciousness of my right hemisphere where I am the life force power of the universe. I am the life force power of the 50 trillion beautiful molecular geniuses that make up my form, at one with all that is. Or I can choose to step into the consciousness of my left hemisphere, where I become a single individual, a solid, separate from the flow, separate from you. I am Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, intellectual, neuroanatomist. These are the we inside of me. Which would you choose? Which do you choose? And when? I believe that the more time we spend choosing to run the deep inner peace circuitry of our right hemispheres, the more peace we will project into the world, and the more peaceful our planet will be. And I thought that was an idea worth spreading.